We can see
Still,
it.
right? Okay, perfect. So why 10,000 personal premium? Because that allows you to go ahead and make $5,000 or more part-time just starting out on a district leader contract. And when you make $5,000 part-time on your own, did you guys know that 10,000, if you were to pull out a calculator, right? If I can make it really simple for everyone to figure this out mathematically, because some of you guys have never written 10,000 and it seems so far away. But really, if you get a max case, right, just all max cases, that's only 6 clients, guys. 6, 7 clients in the whole month, which means there's only 2 apps that you're getting the whole week, each week. That's pretty simple, right, Shay? So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yep. So if you guys just break it down, it's not that far, but only 6, 7 submissions in a qualified market, which Shay's going to talk about next, is going to make you $5,000 minimum part time. And it's going to allow you to fire your boss because why you did it, not your boss. You did it on your own schedule, and you figure that out on your own. And once you learn how to make money on your own, be it 5,000 this example, now you know how to teach other people to make money because how can you retain people who come in to make extra money or replace their job or fire their boss if you don't know how to make money on your own or fire your own boss? That's going to allow 10,000 personal premiums going to allow you to duplicate yourself the right way. Because somebody that's like a Joey who I was training, or Shay, she was talking to me last night. If you recruit a Shay or a Joey or somebody who really has real bills to pay, like real responsibility, like children to take care of, or a significant other, right? Or a mom or other parent, like me, I got $1,000 a month I got to give to my mom or more, not including emergencies she asked me for. How are you going to retain me if you don't know how to make money on your own, right? Also, experience is what's going to teach you how to make that money. A lot of people they say, "Oh, I met somebody in the business." I heard a young lady from that I'm training right now because she's getting a lot of objections in a very short amount of time, and the good thing is she's asking me how to overcome them instead of letting them overcome her. And she said that one of her friends knew somebody who was in the business for 3 years and ended up quitting because she had all these people under her, but she wasn't making any money. Well, that's because she didn't have any field trainings. She wasn't a field trainer. She didn't go in the field. She didn't meet any clients. She didn't acquire any clients. She didn't have the skill set. You can be in the same grade in 7th grade, junior high school for 3 years and stay in the same grade because you didn't do what you were supposed to do to get to 8th grade. Does that make sense? Some people they stick around and go to meetings for 3 years. That's not what it is. You got to build your experience in the field. And if it takes 10,000 hours to be a master at anything, what if it took you 10,000 appointments to be a master at it? Imagine how many appointments Shaq has been on, Samir has been on, Shay has been on. All right, I don't even know how many I've been on, but at this point, it's a couple thousand now, I believe. But experience is measured by not time, but experience, guys. It helps you learn the business. And just like my new girl I'm training, she's getting all that experience now by compressing her lessons in a short amount of time. You also learn how to lead from the front. When you recruit somebody, how can you sit in front of your newest teammate and how can they believe that Donald or Ian can get them where they want to be to the next level. When I look in your eyes and I'm talking to you like a Miss Caroline. Miss Caroline's trying to retain me, trying to recruit me, trying to attract me, trying to teach me. How can I look into Miss Caroline's eyes and be like, wow, this lady can really take me where I want to be? Well, that's not going to happen if Miss Caroline doesn't lead from the front, if Donald doesn't lead from the front, right? So you want to imagine 100 teammates you got. Imagine that this training of 140, 150 people or whatnot showed up on this morning, on Saturday morning. Imagine if all those 100 teammates were in front of you and they were your teammates you were overriding. How would you want your team to act like, to be like, what mentality you would want them to have on month end? Write that down. How would you want your team to be like on month end if you had 100 teammates? How would you want them to be like? One word, 2 words, 3 words. Write it down. Don't think too much about it. But what kind of team do you want to attract on month end or weekend or whatever it is? How serious or committed would you want them to be? Well, that's how serious or committed you got to be. And the more serious or committed you round a team to be together and everybody's unified, right? Like Eric Davis talked about unity. A lot of these big headers, a lot of these big base shops talk about unity. That creates a momentum that not only closes strong, your month, but start strong your next month. That momentum now carries on to the next month, and it allows you to be example to follow when you start hitting the board on month end. Our team, we call it month end monsters. You hit the board on month end. You don't wait till month end to hit the board, but you hit the board on month end because your coach can depend on you. That's a month end monster right there. You hit the board on midnight when nobody else is working, everybody is sleeping. That's a midnight monster, midnight magic. You hit the board on month end, you're not running away or hiding when your coach asks you, right, what's your numbers, what you got in the pipeline. That's a month end monster to us. That's a winner I want to follow versus a warning to avoid. So, what kind of appointments are going to help us get to 10,000 more simply, and basically the shortcut to all of this, Jay?
All right, y'all. So qualified appointments, that's how you move further faster, right? I remember when I first became a soloist, Shaq said the way that you get good is by sitting with a lot of single women with children. I'll never forget that. And that's how I got good. I got good with sitting with a lot of single women with children and being relatable. So when it came to a qualified appointment, right, I already knew how to talk to the woman from a wife standpoint, from a mother standpoint. I already knew how to relate. Qualified appointments will move you further faster. It will accelerate your success. It will collapse time frames, right? A lot of us don't do that. Qualified appointments is where it's at, you all. You just saw Jen say you do 6 max cases, that'll yield you 10,000, 5 grand part-time. A lot of people don't even make 5 grand full-time on their jobs. Think about that. We're talking 2 max cases a week, 1 to 2. You can make $4,500, $5,000 just by simply being in a qualified appointment. So how do we do that? Bigger app, more cash, same time. So important. 80% of the reason you write life sales is being in the right market. So this is what I preach to our team all the time, right? When you go on a qualified appointment, you're sitting with husband and wife, or boyfriend and girlfriend who are engaged, or boyfriend and girlfriend who have children. They're still qualified. They live together. They both work a job, right? They rent a home. They both are together. When you do that and you educate them, they see value, right? Responsible people will move forward. That's just what it is. You educate, they see value. Responsible people will move forward. It didn't take much for the Liberty Mutual agent to come and sit with me for me to understand that I needed life insurance. Now, granted, he did not explain how much I needed. He did not explain the difference between group insurance, right, versus private insurance. And he definitely didn't explain whole life versus term. I was in a whole life policy. I had 250,000 for $200 a month. He just simply asked me how much can I afford. It didn't take much because I was responsible. I was working for the government. I had a good job. I was working for General Dynamics. You couldn't tell me anything. I was making good money, so to speak, right? So I did the right thing, right? Trainees credibility. This is huge. You guys hear me talking about Daniel Abbott. This young man has a ton of credibility. We just recruited his brother yesterday. Both of them. I've already started making calls for his brother. A ton of credibility. It is not hard. When you have a trainee, their credibility mixed with your ability to produce and sit in front of a qualified appointment and educate them, it's magic. It goes hand in hand. It creates max cases. It creates premium. It creates cash flow. It creates duplication, right? Shaq talked about that yesterday. He said, how does he have a hierarchy? I put duplication. If we didn't duplicate exactly what Shaq did, it was a problem. Shaq trained T and Shay. We did exactly what he did. I just put my own little twist to it. I didn't move far away from what Shaq said to do, right? That started with our credibility. We sat down with all of our family and friends that we have here in the DMV area. Primary insured, the healthier spouse. This is big too, right? So oftentimes when we sit down with a qualified appointment, a husband and wife, there tends to be one that is not as healthy as the other person, right? I run into that all the time. You guys always want to put the primary insured, the healthier person first, okay? And it'll tell you if you should submit it as a COD. Follow that. I've made that mistake and haven't followed that for you before. If it says COD, COD it, but always put the primary insured, the healthier spouse first. That's big because this can make or break that application going through or being declined. Dependent children under 18. You want to sit on a qualified appointment with people that have young children, right? I have a son that's getting ready to be 18 in less than 2 months, and a 13-year-old. Those aren't young children anymore, right? You want babies, you want toddlers, you want preferably under 10. That's what you want. Now, am I saying don't get those people that ensure that they have older children? No, that's not what we're saying, right? But with younger children, when we became a client through Primerica, our children were younger, right? It was more evident because 10, 15, 20 years, if something happens, we want to make sure Ty and Jada are good. So you want children that are in the household and they are young. That's big because those parents, if they're responsible, they're going to want to move forward, you all. Need to have an income. This is big, right? I know sometimes we sit down with people, we don't fully qualify. They don't have a job. Well, there's no, recruit them. And even then, that's still hard because if they don't have a job, they haven't worked in 3 years, for them to jump in Primerica and think that something's going to happen, that's going to be tough. So you want them to have a job, you all. That's very, very important. There's no way you can help a client apply for life insurance or help them save for retirement if they don't have a job, right? The two biggest ones that I personally go off of and I tell our team is young children and a job, and obviously healthy. That's big as well. Those three right there are so important to you helping a client apply for life insurance. The funnier the situation is, the funnier the appointment will be. So we don't want that. We want everything to line up, right? We want everything to work in our favor. We want the odds to work in our favor, right? We want an even playing field. We know the game. We know what we have to do. If they're qualified, it's going to line up. And that's more of a chance for you to help that client apply and for you to get a max case. Jen?
Awesome, Shay. All right, guys. So you guys heard it. When you go on this qualified appointment, you got to know and set your expectations with yourself. You got to know what you're walking into, right? But the way you set it up is you just got to set it up right. So you guys are all trainers or trainees to be, right? This is not a situation where you're a new person and your trainer is always with you. Granted, you'll still have one-on-ones, and qualified appointments that are your personal appointments. But if you're setting up, there's a couple ways, and there's only really a few ways to set up this right. The first way is called the character reference, my favorite. The character reference text is so awesome because it allows the trainee, like Shay said, like Daniel, who has credibility, to send out a text message that says, hey, I put you down as a personal professional character reference. Please expect a call from Shay Felton or Jen Lee at 202-320, blah, 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 blah. This is being recorded, so I don't want to put my number on YouTube. but she copied on this text message, right? So now as soon as the person on the other side, the qualified person on the other side we want to set the appointment with, see that text, they may not always text back, but people will miss a call. However, they'll never miss a text. Isn't that true? Right? You'll see a text. You may not respond. You may forget to even respond. You see it. You're like, I'll respond later. But that's the way that it lets you know, okay, they're welcoming your call now. So with FETHOR, FETHOR stands for favor, excited, training, help, opinion, referral. Hey, I need a favor, Shay. I'm really excited about a new company I just started working with, but I'm in training right now and I really need your help. I would love your opinion and see if, you can refer me to anybody that may need our help. That's a favor. That's me trying to use, it's not like a guilt trip on a bad way, but it's a guilt trip in a good way, right? And what if you're with your trainer in person? We don't do this a lot anymore, but the triangle offense is so awesome because it's still a credibility call as well. When you pick up the phone, when your trainee can pick up the phone and say, hey, and say FETHOR. As soon as they say FETHOR, hey, I need a favor, Shay. I'm really excited about, a new company I just started working with. I'm in training, but I need your help and your opinion and possibly some referrals. Can you please talk to my trainer? She can explain a lot more. Boom, pass the phone. It goes basically in a triangle, guys, from the trainee to you to talk to the potential client, and then, back to the trainee, right? So that's a triangle. It's a triangle. All of that, though, needs the credibility of the trainee and your ability, like Shay said. But when you set this appointment with the trainee, you as a trainer have to help the trainee understand, just like your trainer helped you understand in the beginning, that these appointments, all it is, guys, is just a favor. You're not asking them, hey, what life insurance do you have? Hey, can you buy life insurance for me? Hey, can you do investments for me? You're not asking them that, and neither is your trainee supposed to be doing that. Plus, did you guys know that if the trainee doesn't have a license, he or she cannot even legally start selling life insurance? You know? So I tell my trainees, listen, you can't even sell anything. You don't have a license. You have to help me explain everything because legally I could get in trouble for you saying things the wrong way, marketing the wrong way. That's true, right? That's true. Also, there's no obligation. It's just a favor. I want you to see what I'm doing. My aunt, my uncle, there's no obligation to buy anything. To put your checkbook away. I just want you to see what I'm doing. The trainee has to understand that. And they also have to understand we just sit down and educate the family. We don't sell anything. We educate them on real concepts, real life stories. And once they see the value, they make their own decisions and it helps them make their decision to move forward with us. Shay?
That's big, man. The way you set those appointments up is so important. On a qualified appointment, you want to build rapport. This is big. So the choice that we use on our team is the character reference. And a part of that is because when we call, number one, we're controlling the point of contact. All right. One of the things that I will never forget that Bruce told me a long time ago when I won an incentive, a winner's incentive, the best way to help your trainee is to control the point of contact. So that's why one of the reasons we started using that. And that helps with building rapport because now I'm calling about Daniel. So I'm able to meet this person already before we even go on the appointment. So I'm already building rapport. So now when I jump on Zoom and I see you, right, we've already had a small conversation. You already can see if you like and trust me because we've already spoken and we have something in common. We're saying great positive things about Daniel. The energy is already formed. Now we're carrying it over to Zoom. Now we're face to face on Zoom, obviously, right? This is it. This is what it is right now, you all, right? This is the new norm on Zoom. So when you pick up that phone and you make that phone call, they can hear my voice, I can hear their voice, and we're talking about Daniel. We're exchanging positive energy. It's kind of like the yes momentum. That's why I love the character reference because for me, if I allow my trainee to do it, it's cool, but I don't get a chance to introduce myself. You don't get a chance to see how I am. Or do you even want to sit on the Zoom with me before you even say yes for Daniel? You want to know who you're talking to. You already know Daniel. So now let's have common ground and come together, right? And exchange that positive energy. So now when we get on Zoom, I'm like, hey, Jen, how are you? It was nice to meet you the other day via phone, right? Have a small conversation. How are the kids? I know they're online today. How's it going? Form. So important. I've already spoken to you last week. Now this week we're on Zoom, right? That's huge. Compliment and smile. That's important, right? Again, because this is what we're doing. We're on Zoom now. They can see everything from, I guess, the chest up. They can't see the bottom. So you always want to compliment and you always want to have a smile. You always want to look good, y'all. Listen, I remember Coach told me financial services is the wrong place to you where you want to express yourself, right? Woman, right? I can't be out here acting the way I want to act when I was in South Central, right? I'm in financial services and I'm Black and I'm a woman. So I have to do the right things regardless of what I want to do. Do I want to express myself? Absolutely. I want to crip walk all day, but I can't. I can't, right? So I want to smile. I want to compliment. I want to be professional because guess what? When as soon as you hit that button and they come on, you see the audio clicking in, they're checking you out. Compliment and smile. How do you know each other, right? We've already discussed that when we called on the character reference. That's one of the questions we ask. How long have you known Daniel? How do you know Daniel? We've already talked about that. So now we're flipping it over to Zoom, right? Common ground, energy. Most important words, thank you. In the beginning of every appointment, I say thank you at least 3 or 4 times. I want them to know I really appreciate you helping out Gabrielle. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It feels good when you tell someone thank you, right? Make sure you're saying thank you. Find places to insert your story. This is phenomenal, right? I sent a group text to our team last week. Kobe Bryant has these 10 things of a winner, and one of them was learn personal stories. Learn how to tell stories, right? Jesus Christ, the greatest, the biggest leader ever in the history of the world, told parables, told stories, went from city to city. Some kicked, some spit, some threw stones, but some followed just based off of stories. Learn how to insert your story during the presentation. Be relatable, reel them in, energy, positive. I understand. Empathy, sympathy. People understand. When I tell the story about my mom, that if you think something bad about that and you think I'm gonna scam you and I'm telling you about my mom, that's on you, not me. Right? Learn personal stories. I use some of Jen's stories. I use some of Sheila Bustamante's stories, right? Learn these stories, you all, and learn how to insert them in specific areas, right, of the presentation to reel them in so they can understand the importance and they can understand this is real life. This is not a want, this is a need, this is a necessity. Somewhat transparent. Feel, felt, found. This is what I feel. That's how I felt. Now, this is what I found. So big, right? Because before, when I first started Primerica in the beginning, this is what it was. I didn't understand. I was negative when T called me. I was negative when Shaq set that appointment. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was. However, when he came and did the appointment, first off, I never voiced it to them. I kept it all bottled in. But when he came and did the appointment, right? This is how I felt. Oh shoot, I got a whole life policy, right? Before I'm like sitting like this, you know how people do, right? They sit with their arm. Then you start going through the presentation, the arms come down, they start listening a little more. They're like, wait, hold up. What I found was we didn't have nothing on T, ignorant. I had a whole life underinsured and I had a whole life on my son. You understand? So I went from this is what I feel, this is how I felt doing the presentation, this is what I found. We had the wrong products and services. We were doing the wrong things, right? You have to be that way. You've got to let people know what it was in the beginning. Jen?
Great job. Yeah, that is really huge. The story, and I'll share a story because when Shay said, if I'm talking to you about my mom, that's not on me, that's on you if you don't move. And I had a teammate, and some of you guys who work directly with me know this story. Some of you guys who are relatively new coming out of the 90-day class don't know this story, but I had a girl, she's still a client to this day of mine, and she was temporarily with us working licensing wise. And when she was 10 years old, her father got killed on Christmas Eve. He went out gambling and he wanted to win money for her and her little sisters, her and her little sisters Christmas gifts, because their family was, pretty much limited in cash, broke, and couldn't afford much. And some guys who saw him win that money followed him home and killed him for the money he won on Christmas Eve. So on Christmas Day, her and her little sister and her widowed mother had to knock on the doors in the cold, snow, freezing, trying to get money for a funeral. And some people slammed doors in their face because they thought they were trying to scam them. At 10 years old, guys, how tragic. I mean, how much can go in your mind? I mean, that stays with you forever. And when I find parents that say I want to think about it and they don't have any coverage, I tell that story. That's my ace in the hole, because it didn't stop there. Money is not the most important thing, but money allows you to do things that you couldn't do without it. A lot of times, many times, and not all the time. And as they got older, their mother started dating somebody for money to put food on the table. That person ended up touching inappropriately her younger sister. They brought it to her mother, and her mother said, "What are you saying? You're trying to put the man out of the house that's putting food on your table? Go to your room." I told that story and I said, Mr. Client, I'm not saying your wife will ever do that, but do you really want her to have to make that decision? Look at your daughter. If you don't move from that, it's not on me, it's on you. Right? But every time I said that story, a few times I have to, because people get it. You just got to be very firm, right? So, and a lot of that story is going to relate to a certain type of person. There's going to be certain personalities you're going to have to know. This is switching gears here. When you build rapport with somebody, it all comes into play of knowing their personality. If you haven't known what STAR is, write this down, because this is going to make you a lot of money and save you a lot of headache. STAR stands for structured, technical, action, relational, or relationship. S people who are structured. They're very professional. So if you come off and if you get on Zoom and you're not dressed the part, that's a complete turn off for them, right? Technical people, action oriented and relational. So back to S. People who are S's, you want to emphasize stability. You want to make sure that you're a solid person, a solid advisor, like Shaq said. Do I know that you're going to be here for me, right? I want to know that I can be guaranteed to be that you're dependable. The crusade long term. Is this something that's a fly by night company, or is this something that's been around for a while? Right? So people who are S's get attracted to things like that. T's, technical people, they don't talk a lot, but you want to emphasize a lot of saving money, a lot of the numbers. You want to kind of cut to the chase and be more